Welcome to the Backflip Effect. I love that name, by the way. This is the podcast that proves there's a method to the marketing madness, specifically a method that involves clever video strategy and a dash of creative mischief. Mostly that's John. Don't be fooled by bland ideas and big budget fluff. Instead, we tackle real client questions head on and share how we've transformed businesses with strategies that actually work. Grab your headphones and maybe strong coffee or booze. I don't know, can I say that on these platforms? And join us as we explore the nitty-gritty of turning everyday marketing woes into story-driven success. It's getting better.
You did it. You did it. That was a good one.
Less sucky. So at the end of, or kind of towards the second half of the last podcast, we really got into the pick a partner, not a price. Mm-hmm. And since we get really fired up about that, I thought that this would be a really good podcast to do on a different podcast. Separate from budgeting. So if you came here for a pick a partner, not a price, this is what we're going to talk about. If you came for budgeting, that's the previous one. Check that out. We pull back the curtains and reveal maybe unsatisfactorily that it costs money. There's no dollar amount you can really put on it, but we give you some ranges, which is helpful.
Yeah. So I've got another topic already in mind for the next one, but it's related.
This is my job, is just to keep John on task and try to have a conversation about one topic.
The big budget fluff from the intro. I was thinking about that, and I mentioned this the other day about the backflip effect. At some point, there'll have to be an episode maybe where we dive into an exploration of what is the backflip effect. You know,
you'll have to stay tuned for that.
And so. Pick a partner, not a price. I mean, the philosophy of it is that the price is a flexible thing within some ranges, and it's something that we build together. We build the project together with our clients.
Yeah, we build the solution together, right?
Yeah. So there are times that somebody is limited by budget, and they tell us, hey, this is all we have. And then we try to design the scope based on what they have to give them the best outcome, the best output, for their project. Mm-hmm. But in picking a partner, not a price, the reason that we really like that is because this isn't the same as shopping around for some sort of product or some sort of car where like, well, this car is this price and then this car is that price, and which one do you want? Mm-hmm. And sometimes I think potential clients don't realize that. And so then they compare vendors and they look at this one and then they look at this one and there's a different price here. And then they go with that one because it had a lower price. When they skip the part of the conversation we would like to have is like, just come back to us and ask, like, we probably could have done it the vast majority of the time. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's because they short circuits the discussion of, can this group even do what you want?
Yeah.
Do they have the experience, the depth, I said pedigree before, but the example work.
Well,
right?
and I mentioned before that, in humility, certainly there are times when the answer is no. Like you don't.
Oh yeah.
You don't jive with Backflip or with what we're saying or what it is that we're going to do, and that's okay. That's totally fine.
I've never heard that, and I would love to hear that. Like, except maybe once, like, oh, Backflip is like the big, kind of fancy, expensive, and like that's just not what we need. I have heard that before, but like no one's really like, oh, the vibe's not good. It didn't make sense like creatively or anything like that. It's, if it comes back, it's like, well, this group is cheaper.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. So
yeah, one time I did hear through the grapevine from some other company that worked with some competitor that they were told, oh, Backflip they're like comedic or, these like kind of wild creative ideas. Yeah. And, we're the business. The business videos. Like, dude, we can do boring business if that's what you want. Anyone can do that. Like, anyway, so
tell me how
I'm going to go down a road.
Name names.
So it was Brian. That's
Look him up on LinkedIn.
yeah. It's your evil alter ego.
Ooh, an alter ego. Okay, so this is how ideation happens. Random nonsense in discussion, like alter ego or eagle. I didn't say it wrong.
The alter ego.
The alter ego. Pay attention to our social media.
It's Brian.
Brian, the alter ego, will make an appearance at some point.
Yes. Yes. See, this is what you get when you pick the partner.
This is why you pay more.
So the point is that we want people to work with us.
Yes.
That that are like, okay, I think I like this other project that I saw. I like what you did here.
Yeah.
I feel like you're speaking my language.
This would work well for me.
Yeah, you understand what I'm trying to do in my business. And then we can work out the scope of the project and the price together.
Yeah.
But if we don't get to have that conversation, we can never move beyond that. And you had the idea recently, and maybe this is the announcement of it happening, where we should just start saying, like, we will match any reasonable price.
Yeah.
And reasonable is key. It's got to make sense.
Because that's the undertone of what we're saying. Pick a partner, not a price.
Yeah.
Like if we pitched 30 and somebody came back and said, we'll do it for 20, and we can see that scope, we can work towards that scope with you.
Yeah. And again, I would say the majority of the time, the other price or the lower price, we'll say, is because they were going to do something different than we were going to do. They were going to do less, or the scope was going to be tighter, or
Right. It's just different.
It's
not the creative that we do. Yeah.
So we can, and again, like when we get to work with a client or gain a new client, start working with them, we get fired up. It's where we're less like your old style video production company and more like a marketing agency, where we're thinking about strategy, because there is that model of video production company where, and there are good companies that we know locally here that are really solid at what they do, and they will say firsthand, like, I don't write scripts. Like, if you want that, we'll work with a script writer or whatever. But we are about strategy and about solutions. So
we want to be kind of that full stack for our partners. We don't want to be a vendor. We don't want to just provide a very narrow thing, because a lot of times our clients don't know what to do with that thing. Like we were talking about in the budgeting conversation, they don't know what to do with it. So we want to provide the other components so that it can be successful. So a $30,000 video actually helps them grow their revenue by some percentage in that year, versus, I put the promotion on the website. And we heard this early on, and I think it's why we developed in this way and pivoted. People would invest in video and then put it on a website that nobody went to, or put it on a YouTube channel that had no subscribers and put no money behind it. So it's like, those are like very simple things of like, okay, we need to drive traffic to the video. How do we do that? On the website, well, we need SEO or paid ads. On YouTube, we probably need paid ads because you probably don't have a audience. Where else? Social media. You may have a good social media following, but we need to get it on there, and we need to have a bunch of frequent touches, because you know what? That evergreen video that you thought could be, good for years, you posted it and people forgot about it hours later. Now, will people go back? Absolutely. And you can reuse content, but you have to keep a video pulse going. You have to, have more, and that's what we, realized that's where the market went. That's how social and digital went. And
I think there's one place. I think there's one place where the one video payoff maybe still works, and that might be at the donor benefit dinner or donor gala, that sort of thing,
where you've paid for a big captive audience.
Right. You have a captive audience. Right. And then you have paid for a video that is, edited and, made beautifully to share a message that is like, pulling on the heartstrings and that gets people fired up.
Yeah.
And I've heard just recently from, clients that I think the video testimonials that we had were better than the live testimonials we had, because, people people knew what they were saying or whatever. It's like,
I'm a huge proponent of that, by the way. Like, I love the organizations that we support and that we go to. I get, because it's up to the talent of the person or the student. And not everyone is an expert speaker, nor should they be. And they get coached phenomenally too. And so what we see up there is kind of their best effort. Now, when we do the video testimonial at like a gala, we're able to craft it in a super engaging way that, through our skills that we've honed over the last 20 years in engaging storytelling. And then what results? You get testimonies that said live have less impact than on video. And now we have the video asset that can be little pieces that can be dripped up to the event or after the event. So even though it is just a one thing,
so certainly
you can make more use of it.
Doing the full plan will result in more and better, but that would be one place where a one-off video could still be very valuable to you. That's a hard ROI to like plan for, but what's the impact of making, or what's the result of making an emotional impact with donors? Some percentage increase in what they are willing to write down and commit to. And
well, and we could pull up all the video statistics. Maybe I can real quick and throw some of that out there. But 72% of people when shopping for a product will, they view video primarily, to learn more about the product, and over 50% will share video, more than all the other types of content combined,
We talk about the building industry a lot as an analogy, building a house and what does a house cost and that kind of thing. And that's from our last podcast episode. There's a company that we worked with a while ago that's still around, I think Property Revival. I love the company, love the guys there. And I remember from one of the interviews, one of the guys saying that it's like, we've had times where we've talked a client out of something that's more expensive because we're like, I don't actually think that's going to be necessary for you here. Based on the neighborhood you're in and kind of the comparable houses and things like that, I think this makes the most sense, and I think you're going to be really happy with this. I love that perspective because they're being partners with those people. They're not just going for the top dollar, the top price. The same thing is true with us. Like, we are, and it just comes down to trust. Like, I guess if you don't trust us, if you don't trust your vendors, then don't hire them, don't work with them. But you have to engage in conversation and then get to that level of trust and then say, hey, I want you to be successful because if you're successful, you will be happy, and then I will be successful, and then we'll probably do more work together.
Right.
So like, why wouldn't it be in my best interest to make sure that your projects, your products result in more revenue and more donations or more whatever it is that you're going for?
Right.
That is in my best interest.
Right. When we partner, our partner's success is our success, but our partner's success is first.
Yeah.
As opposed to a vendor relationship where they just do the thing and it may or may not be successful. Like, I did get my car fixed yesterday and they replaced the bulb and they're like, it looks like the assembly's blown, it'll cost more. And I didn't know that until I was like reading the report. Like, nobody even told me that.
Yeah.
Just such a kind of vendor, and it was actually a pretty good experience at a car dealership, but like just such a vendor, like, I'm just going to do a thing and, not take care of you. We take care of our clients. We want to partner at that level and provide that service so they can succeed first. They succeed first, like you said, then we have success as well. And it's win-win, as opposed to, okay, now you just have this piece of content that nobody's viewing and you love it, but it's lose-lose.
And it's harder in a partnership because there's going to be some push and pull. Like, a vendor will often just say, yes sir, no sir, how high, what, right? And from us, you're going to get, strong opinions about things. Another one that happened to me recently in my life is I have a vendor who came in to do some work on my house, and they made some choices. This is involving plumbing. They made some choices about putting things in certain places or doing them in a certain way that I was like, why? Like, and I was like, well, technically this is what I said, I guess, but we're not thinking together like a strategy of like, oh, I wonder what would be ideal. I wonder what they would want. I wonder if they actually meant this or want this, right? And like, that's the vendor versus partnership, to be like, hey, you said that you're looking for this. You're looking for a 2-minute, promo video that's a walkthrough of your business. You're like, is that really what you need? Or might it be better to start here or something like that, right?
Right.
Some people don't like that.
And when you're talking about that too, it's like, we're not even talking about going the extra mile. We're like going the extra marathon with somebody, in there for the long haul.
The extra 25 miles.
Well, 1 mile plus 25, right? What, 26.2? Yeah. I thought you were just subtracting the 1 mile that it affected. And it makes me think, so your story makes me think about an awesome current client who we're doing some Shopify websites for, and then some photos and some branding and other things. And they came to us and just wanted to replace their current website. And they had seen some great success on Amazon. And because of the great success on Amazon, we started asking more questions about which direction would be best. Maybe we get a little more business going for you, and then we update the website, right? Because it's going to be a bigger cost. Well, come to find out, in this process, there was some pain points that made operating the business suck with the website. And it was like, this is my biggest pain point right now. I need to get this fixed. So as a partner, we had that discussion, saw the opportunity for business growth and suggested that, but then came back to whatever the biggest pain point was, started addressing that biggest pain point, but then we're also able to help address brand in photography with the look towards, okay, after we fix this major pain point that's causing basically a bottleneck in your business, then we can look at that other marketing where there's a huge opportunity because you have seen huge sales over here. And because Amazon changes their rules, you lost that channel, but we now know that there's a lot of people who want this product. We can market to that. We'll start that after we fix this pain point. That whole thing, that doesn't happen in a, pitch a, just update our website, type of deal. But because he was willing to partner with us, we were able to strategize and figure out how best to solve his pain points.
Yeah, because if somebody has just responded to the simple request, and let's say they came in with a pretty low budget number, that you're like, oh, that's a low budget. And then you said, okay, let's do that. And then you got that done, and then you put it into place, and it didn't solve the problem.
Right.
Now you've just thrown away that budget, or it didn't even do anything.
Gave somebody what they asked for, but it's not what they needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That brought me again to that topic of, the backflip effect, and what is it that people are looking for.
That's okay. Every podcast, you will get the new idea, and then that will set us off to the next episode.
So what are people looking for in business? This is an oversimplification, but people are looking for quick wins or quicker wins. Not many people are very good, and that's okay. It's not a critique on businesses, because we do the same thing. Not very many people are good at planning way ahead of where they're going to need the thing. Where I think just the pace of life and the pace of business, we're pretty reactionary. Like, we see something happening, and then we try to see it happening early, and then try to start pivoting and start making something happen. Most people don't want, even if they know they need marketing and they know they need a marketing team and agency work and strategy, they don't want to spend a lot of money and then wait for 3 months, 6 months for all those ideas to start being, put together and put down. Like, planning is important, but it goes all the way back to our business plan way back when. It was like, you can spend forever writing a business plan, or you can start working in your business. And with marketing, it's actually even a part of an important part of the process is to start doing stuff so that you can start getting data back and start making decisions based on that. So spending way too long on excess strategy, I'll say, you need to have some, but spending way too long and way, too much of the effort in that and not getting anything done for it is also not good. So yeah, I guess I was going back to that's kind of the counterpoint, I guess, to the partner, like just giving them what they want.
Well, yeah, I mean, and my sister-in-law worked at a hospital down south, and they got federal funding, and the federal funding was in part tied to their ratings by their customers, by their patients. And they would get addicts who would come in and demand painkillers or demand medication, and then the staff would determine it's not good for you, it's not a viable solution for whatever you got going on, then they get rated lowly. So then they lose funding, right? So the system is slightly set up in that regard to incentivize giving addicts their poison, which is insane. Like, for us, maybe we would be more successful if we just shut up and like, okay, what's your budget? You have 10 to 20. I'll just do 20.
I was like, how is this going to connect?
We give them poison, like you come in and you don't know necessarily what's good for you. And you've given us a range, 10 to 20. And, we often come back and we're like, okay, here's this amazing thing we can do for 20. And they're like, well, this guy will do it for 10. I'm like, I bet he will, But what do you want? Do you want a partner who's going to run that marathon with you, who's going to stick with you, who's going to see what happens after it goes out, right? Who's going to follow up, who's going to, the whole cadence and choreography of onboarding and project management and then offboarding or success after the project, like it's a whole kind of package that we have, and we continue to refine and continue to build more for our clients. So again, it's not just a video, it's success with video is what we really want to offer. Success with video to our partners.
Good. So that helped me understand where we sit. I think we're in the perfect place in the middle. We're not the vendor who's just like, all right, I'll take that budget and I'll make that thing, and I'm not thinking about it. We're also not a huge agency
that only does strategy.
And then when it comes down to, okay, that's great. So when are we gonna, have this up and running, or have our commercial, or have our social plan? We're like, well, we got to make that, right? Like, there's that stress that people have. I think we sit in the middle really well, where we go fast because we know that people need things. They need it right away, and they want to see stuff getting out there. So we try to sprint. We sprint that strategy into, can we start making something, getting you some quick results? And then once you start getting some results, now we're working together, and now we can pivot and decide, what's down the line next.
I need AI to be listening and pulling these thoughts together, because it's like actionable strategy with, exceptional creative and something video success.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you go, and that's the backflip effect.
Yes, there we go. What is the backflip effect? So that'd be a good next podcast. We'd have to think about it more, because we haven't really dialed it in. Yeah. But that's the whole point of this podcast, is to talk about the lessons we've learned. Maybe we should have that'd be another good one too. Like failures. Like our biggest failures. Like, that'd be really interesting.
That would be a fun episode.
Yeah. And there's 3 of us partners now too. And interpersonalness is probably one of the most difficult things. Yeah. Because when we're rocking and, grokking in fullness, it's easy to weather any challenges. But when we are not grokking in not fullness, that's when it becomes more challenging. And certainly missteps with clients, but that'd be a fun one.
I think if you're not grokking in fullness, that's the worst that it can be.
Not grokking in unfullness is the same as grokking in fullness.
If you're not grokking in less than full, then it's not quite as bad of a non-grok. But
what did we decide grok is? Because it's also the
like
AI and X.
Like understanding,
Group understanding,
or like being in understanding or something.
Hey Siri, what does the word grok mean? Understand something intuitively or by empathy.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Because of all the commercials, children grok things immediately.
You know, like we've all heard that phrase, you know.
Yeah, like because of commercials, because of French fries at McDonald's. All right, well, that's what we got. That was good. That was a good choose a partner, not a price discussion. And hopefully we kind of covered our perspective, and it's not, okay.
I think we're grok.
Calling me. I don't know how to turn off notifications. Okay, I'm this year's old that like I can't operate technology. I'm on do not disturb mode, and I just got 2 phone calls.
Yeah,
I give up.
Break it. It's an emergency.
We just need
there's
not
a fire
technology.
somewhere. They can break. They can get you if there's a fire.
One was an 800 number, and one was a friend/client. I'll call them both back. But the whole partner thing. Hopefully, it's clear that the goal is video success, the win for the partner, which then creates a win for us, right? And we can develop that together, and it's got to be outcome and value oriented. Otherwise, who cares? Like, don't do the thing. Don't spend the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did it.
We did.
Thank you for coming on to part. There's no way to, how do we end this?
But what it needs to happen at the end is it's like a slow fade out with like a theme song.
Just keep talking. Oh, that's really good. Yeah. And then cut back to John explaining how we end. All right, that's it.